Welcome to the video. This is our first video in the series of Excel tutorials. And in this tutorial, we'll be looking at XLOOKUP. It is a new feature in Excel to kind of replace the lookup or to be much better option, at least in my mind, as much as better option than VLOOKUP. And if you are someone who either used VLOOKUP a lot and you are trying to learn this new option, or if you have never used it before, this video will going to be super helpful because I'll walk you through the kind of option and what XLOOKUP can do, as well as the difference between XLOOKUP and VLOOKUP. So here we'll start off with our XLOOKUP. So what I did over here is that I have divided my complete XLOOKUP tutorial, like this tutorial, into multiple parts. Okay, so first we have XLOOKUP, then XLOOKUP with multiple rows, XLOOKUP with exact match, XLOOKUP or search orders, XLOOKUP horizontal search, and few more. Now, in this complete tutorials, what we'll be doing is that we'll go through all those things, okay, simultaneously, and we'll learn, okay, the way same as VLOOKUP, okay, but there are a few changes, so we'll see what those changes are. Regarding these data, okay, so I've created the data by myself. If you want to use the same, you can take a note of it. If not, you can create your own data regarding this, okay. Now, here in our A column, okay, we have full name, and what we want is the email IDs for all the employees, let's say, which we have over here. So we have employee ID, first name, last name, their full name, their age, gender, job title, their start date, their end date, and their email IDs. Okay. So if we want the email ID for, let's say, our first person, what I have to do, okay, again, fairly simple, equals to type XLOOKUP, okay. So we got it, press tab. Now, what we have to do is we have to select the lookup value. So this is the lookup value which we have to select, comma. Now, lookup array. So what is the array from which you want to look up this value? So this is the array which from which I want to look this value up. Okay, what should be the return array? So the return array should be this. Okay, so now I have to close the bracket and enter. Okay, now we receive the value for our first employee. Okay, now if I drag it down, okay, I'll get it for all my employees. Okay, so this is how we are getting data. So now, okay, so regarding the part where we talk about VLOOKUPs and XLOOKUP together, we'll do it later on in this video. As I've mentioned at the end, here we have XLOOKUP versus VLOOKUP. But for now, if you want to get the values, this is how you can get. Okay, so this is how you can get a single value, a single column from by using XLOOKUP. Now we'll see how you can take multiple columns by using the XLOOKUP. Okay, so again the same thing. I'll press equals to, okay, XLOOKUP. Press tab. What is the lookup value I want? I want this value to be looked up, comma, where I want this value to be looked up. I want this value from here, comma, what should be the return array? So over here, I want my return array to be end date and email. So I'll select both end date and email, okay, and okay, so there is, okay, by mistake I changed using, but I'll tell you. Okay, so I have to close the bracket, press enter. I'm getting the value. There is a change that it's not 19. Okay, let's make it 10. Okay, let's let's make it 9. Okay, so yeah, that was out of the range. That's why we were facing a bit of issue over there. But again, the data which we are getting is same. Now, if I want the same data for all my other employees, what I have to do is I have to select it, drag it up till here, and I'll get the data for all the employees for now. So what we have seen up till now is how you can use XLOOKUP, okay, to look up for a single value to find the value, okay, for from a single column. The second way is how you can use XLOOKUP to take the value, take multiple rows, okay. You can select the multiple rows at the same point of time, okay. The next part is we'll see how you can use XLOOKUP to find the exact match. Okay, so what I meant by the exact match is that when we are like working over here, so I have changed the name a bit. Okay, in the previous part over here, you can see that the surname is Khanna, okay? But now the surname has been changed to Singh, okay? Now, as the surname has been changed, okay, I want to use XLOOKUP, okay, to find the same value like we were up till now, okay? But we have to make sure it should not give any false returns, okay? And how we'll do that, okay? So let's see. Lookup, press tab. Okay, what is the value I want to look up? Not comma. I want to look up this value, comma. What is the lookup array? So this is the lookup array from which I want to look this value up. What should be a return array? It should be this. Okay, this should be a return array, comma. Now, what if your value is not found? Okay, so here, what if not found? In this case, we'll give the condition. Okay, that if the value is not found. Okay. Yeah, so if the value is not found, it should return not found. So I'll write not found. Okay, now if I press enter over here, you see that the value which I'm getting is it's giving me not found because we have changed the surname. Okay, we have changed the surname a bit, and this name is not available. Okay, this name is not available in our data. But when we see over here, so again, this is the completely different name. Okay, and we don't have this name in our database. The second thing here, we have Mishra over here. Okay, so if we go over here and we can see that, okay, we have one Mishra. Okay, but again, if I drag it and drop it over here, the result which I'm getting is again not found. Okay, why? Because it is matching both array. Okay, so it is matching this Mishra with this Shalab Mishra, and what it is doing is Shalab Mishra is not an exact match for the Mishra. So what we have to do, we have to change the exact match part. So now this is the value which I want to look up. Okay, I'll just change this. Okay, so this is the value which so this is the lookup array, and yeah, I need to change this too. So this is the email ID. Okay, comma. If not found, then it will say not found, comma. Now, match mode. What match mode do you want? Okay, so here the match mode I want is the wildcard character. Okay, so I'll write 2 over here. I'll press enter, but still, if you see here, the data is not found, even though we are using wildcard character. Wildcard character. And why is that? Because it is still, even Mishra is a single word and Shalab Mishra are 2 words. So what we have to do, we have to make it 2 words first. Okay, and how we'll do that? Okay, so let's see. So before this A4 over here, I'll just click over here, and what I'll do is I will put double inverted commas, a star over here, okay, and A4. So now we are not worried about what we have in like what we have before A4. So we are not worried about what we have before Mishra, but we'll take Mishra and we'll do the matching. If I press enter now, see, we are getting the proper value. Okay, and why we are getting the proper value? It's because we're using wildcard and we are not taking like consideration, or we are not considering what do we have before Mishra. Okay, now if you see the third name over here, okay, the third name is only Nikhil. Okay, now if we see in our data, we have Nikhil Tandon. Okay, there is no single Nikhil. Now in this case, okay, if I copy this formula, okay, if I copy this formula and if I wait just a second, yeah. So if I copy this formula and paste it over here, no, lookup value is not A4, it's A5. Okay, again the value is not found. Okay, and the value over here is we are able to find the value because it's the exact match. But now for Nikhil, the value is not found. And why is that? Okay, the value is not found because here we have the first name, but there we are missing the last name. Okay, so for that we'll do the same thing, but again, rather than doing it before A5, we'll delete it. We'll come over here. I'll write and double inverted commas, go in between, star, press enter, and now we're getting email ID for Nikhil Tandon. Okay, so that's why you can do different types of matches. Okay, in XLOOKUP. Okay, now we'll go to XLOOKUP Okay, we have seen XLOOKUP multiple rows. Okay, I guess I dragged it over here. Okay, so we have seen how to work with XLOOKUP with multiple rows with exact match. Okay, now we'll see XLOOKUP in the search order. Okay, and how is that? So let's say here I have my start date as 1st of January 2001. Okay, but if you see, okay, if you come over here in the start date over here, you can see that we don't have any start date as 1st of January. Okay, we don't have any start date 1st of January. So what we are going to do? Okay, in this case, okay, XLOOKUP provides us something. Okay, so I'll show you first. Okay, so I will come to this shell equals to XLOOKUP. Yes. Now the lookup value is this. We are sure about it. Lookup array. So this is start date. We'll select all the start dates. Comma. What is the lookup value? So let's say I want person. That means let's say the full name. That's what I want. Comma. Okay. So if I have all these things, now I am not worried about the match mode. Okay. So I'll give the comma. Okay. Now what match do you want? Okay. So here we don't want the wildcard character. Okay. What do we want is if we are not able to find this, okay, I don't want to go back. Okay, what I want is let's say that we are working with the sales data and all. Okay, and let's say there were no sales in on 1st of January, so I don't want it to return false. Okay, I want it to return some data so that I can check that, okay, from which date I got the data, and then I can change the things. So what I'll do is, rather than going for the exact match, okay, what I'll do is I'll choose the exact match or the next larger item. Okay, so I wrote one over here. If I write -1, it will give either the exact match or the next smaller item. I don't want smaller item. What I want is the next larger item. So I'm writing one. If you want the smaller item, you can go ahead and you can write -1. But for now, we'll go with the next larger item. Okay. Now I'll close a bracket and I'll press enter. Okay. So I'm getting Shalab Mishra. Okay. If in any case, let's say I remove these. Okay. I remove these. Okay. And if I press enter, I'm not getting any value. It is giving me NA. Okay. So I don't want NA. Okay. If it is not returning the value. Okay. I want it to return some of the value. So again, let's say here, if I have Shalom Mishra, I can check that, okay, the nearest date to this date is this data, okay, and then I can check from which date I got the data, and I can uh, start working from that date onwards, okay. Now, the next part over here is that here I have written the data as 5th of October 2001. Now, why I wrote 5th of October to like 2001 is what I want to show you is that by using XLOOKUP, okay, you can choose uh, from which pattern you want to look for the data. Let's say you want to go from top to the bottom. Okay, you want to do top to the bottom approach or bottoms up approach. Okay, you can either choose one and then you can start working on that. For example, okay, now if I click equals to over here, okay, and if I write again XLOOKUP, next, the lookup value which I want, comma, the lookup array is this, comma, okay, now, yeah, so this is a return array I want, and here I will write one more comma. Okay, I don't want this part over here. Okay, because we can have the exact match. Okay, what I want to show you guys is that which approach should we take. So again, I'll put one more comma. Now, if you want first to last, okay, if you want to go from top to bottom, okay, you can write one. You can go first to last. If you'll write -1, you'll go last to first. And I'll show you. Let's say I wrote one over here. I press enter. The name which I'm getting is Ankit Giri. Okay, so let's say here we see that the first 5th of October is associated with Ankit Giri. Now, at this place, if I double click on this, and rather than writing 1, if I write -1 over here, in this case, what I'll get is Ashwini Singh. Okay, why is that so? Is because when we are going from top to bottom, the first 5th of October is this, and it is taking data and giving you output as Ankit Giri. Okay. Now, when we're starting from bottom, okay, the first 5th of October, it is identifying over here, and the first name is we are getting is Ashwani Singh. Okay. So that's how you can search. You can use XLOOKUP, okay, to search your orders. Up till now, what we're doing is we were working vertically, okay, that was column wise. Now we'll see how we can use XLOOKUP to work horizontally, that's row wise, okay. So here we go. Now, if you see over here, here we have the classes, okay, so you can have first, second, third, fourth, fifth. Here we have their subjects, and here we have their scores. Okay, so let's say we are taking the score of a single child from all the classes, okay, and this is the output which you are getting, okay. Now, what do we want is that, let's say for the second class, I want math, science, and their history result, okay, their history score. In that case, what I'll do, I'll just click over here, equals to XLOOKUP. Okay, now what is the value you want to look for? I want to look for second, comma. From which array do you want it? I want it from this array, comma. What is the lookup value? Okay, or sorry, what is the return array? So return array is this, and then close the bracket, press enter. You're getting the value. If I just select it, drag it down, I'm getting the data for all the columns. Okay, so this is how what we can do is we can search the data horizontally, okay, or what we can say is row wise. Because see, what we were doing is we took the lookup value as we took the lookup value as a shell. Now we took the lookup array as a column, and also the output array as a column. Okay, now we have seen the horizontal search. Now we'll see it with sums. Now, so horizontal search is all. So I'll just do one thing. I'll just come over here, click here. I'll just copy this code. Okay, I'll copy this formula, not the code. So I'll copy this. I'll come over here. I'll paste it. I'll get the value. I'll take all the values. Now, what I want to do is I want to use XLOOKUP, okay, to sum the score of maths. I want to sum these two scores for class second and third in the maths. Okay, I want to sum both of the student math score. Okay, and that's the data which I want. Okay, now how I'll get it? So for this, so it's a bit tricky, not a very tricky. So be with me. Okay, be patient. Now I'll click sum. Okay, now in the sum, what we want to use, we will use XLOOKUP in the sum part. So I'll write XLOOKUP. Okay. Now, what do you want to look for? I want to look for second, comma. What is the lookup array? The lookup array is this, comma. The return array is this, comma. No, not comma. I'll just close the bracket. So this is our first lookup. Now I'll just give a column, okay, over here. Now what I have to do, it again have to write XLOOKUP. So again XLOOKUP, the lookup value is this, comma, the array is this, comma, the lookup the return array is this, comma. So close the bracket. So we did it, we close the bracket. Now we again have to close the bracket for the sum, and then boom, you're done. Okay. So here what we are doing is we are using XLOOKUP with sum. Okay, and we are using XLOOKUP to sum the value, to sum the data at the same point of time when we are working with the data. Okay, and that's how we use XLOOKUP with sums, or we use XLOOKUP and do the sums. The difference between XLOOKUP and VLOOKUP. Okay, so let's come over here. So first, let's use VLOOKUPs. Okay, because we already worked with XLOOKUP, so let's use VLOOKUP. I'll click equals to VLOOKUPs tab. What is the lookup value? This is the lookup value, comma, table array. So in our XLOOKUP, we had the lookup array. Here we have the table array. So we have to select the complete table, comma, the column or index number. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we'll write 7 over here, comma. So what type of maths do you want? So I want the exact math, so I'll write false. Okay, I'll close the bracket, I'll press enter. I'm getting the data, I'll just drag it down. Okay, so I'm getting the data for all my employees. Now, let's say before, or let's say before the start date, okay, I want to insert a column Why I want to insert a column? Because let's say I want to put their address over here. Okay. So I insert a column. As soon as I insert a column, as what we did was over here in the formula, we took the seventh index value. Okay, seven index number. So we are getting now this is the seventh index number, and we are getting this value over here. If let's say I added the address, okay, so I'll just put enter. Let's say I added the okay, so this is the address. Now I changed my formula for let's say all of my data. Let's say I put 8 over here. Okay, and then I again drag it and fill all of my data. Now let's say I also want to add their mobile number. Okay, let's say I added another column in between, and we can do this. Okay, this is a fairly simple and fairly normal situation, and you can face it. Now, if I want to add their mobile number, okay, in that case, again, my data is changed. Why? Because again, we are taking the rather than taking the exact column, what we are doing is we are taking the column index number. But this is not the issue with our XLOOKUP. Why? So let's click over here. I'll come over here. Before start date, I will insert a column. Boom. There's no change in our data. Even if I add one more column for a mobile number, or if you can add one more column for any of the thing, okay, the data is not giving you any errors. Why? Because XLOOKUP is taking the column value directly rather than taking the index number or column number. Okay, so that was all for this video. Okay, I hope you guys to see in my next video. Till then, keep working.